Morning, everybody. Onegaishimasu. Okay, I'll begin this morning by reading Shokushu number 21, Setsudo. There is no selfish person who fulfills the way of the universe. If you awaken to the principles and way of the universe, you are given the responsibility from the universe to share them throughout the world. Do not say that you don't have the strength to help people. If you have this experience one day, you are already a teacher for that experience. The world is full of people who are lost and are suffering from an unhealthy mind. Let us share this awakening with others with all our hearts. So, this morning, we have a two-part quote from Toi Sensei I'd like to address. The first part is, be grateful for your progress, as others may not be so fortunate. And the second part is, be diligent in your practice, as others may have greater experience. Interesting. So, when we look around and find ourselves to be in a very fortunate position, and others perhaps not so fortunate, how do we feel? Toi Sensei says we should feel grateful instead of maybe superior, just grateful. Why? How did we come to the place we're in, whatever that is? If we're honest in our practice, in the moment, as we see how we react to challenge in our life, which is basically what accounts for how we make choices. If we're honest about this and observant and aware, we see that those reactions come out of our subconscious mind. And what was put in our subconscious mind began basically when we were conceived, perhaps even some of it before. So if we have had good influence from others, from our parents, and from our teachers, from our friends, from our surroundings, if we've had a good education, if we've had positive support, then maybe those choices that we make every moment that have brought us to this place we are have been positive and reflected that. So who is responsible for our position that we find ourselves in now? Yes, okay, we like to say we are responsible. And in that sense, this we is though kind of a collective we. In other words, everybody that has been in our life up to now has also had a lot to do with our state of mind now. In other words, the way we react to or respond to challenges in our life, and therefore how we choose to develop, how we choose to see ourselves, is something we should be very grateful for. So this is what he's saying. All too often, when we look around and see that we are in a good position, and we look at life as if it's a race and we are winning, and so we feel very good about ourselves. But that's a kind of a selfish way to look at it. And we forget that wherever we are, it's because of everybody else. Where I am right now is because of all of you people and a whole lot of more people in my life. So this is something to be constantly aware of and always grateful for. The second part of this quote from Toi Sensei is, be diligent in your practice as others may have greater experience. Yeah, so the other side of this is, quite often we look around and see that it looks like others are more highly developed than we are. Again, looking at life as if it's a race, only this time we're losing the race. We are somehow insufficient. We're deficient. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, if we see things this way, it means that we're forgetting once again about the opportunity that who we're surrounded by gives us. If others who surround us are more experienced, doesn't that inspire us to be more, as he says, diligent in our practice? Don't others, isn't the state that we find ourselves in, whether it's plus or minus, in the race of life, isn't it something we should always be grateful for? So this, to me, this is always happens, this business of looking at life like it's a contest, because we forget about I. So what we're really practicing in our life, whether it be in business or sports or social situation or our spiritual practice, is always I. We're always looking to develop our personal relationships with others so that we have an appropriate relationship. I is like the appropriate distance between each other, right? So ma means this space, and I means harmonious. So harmonious space between ourselves and others. So gratitude always gives us this harmonious space, and our interaction with each other is always one of searching for a deeper level of connection, a deeper level of this experience. And that's what Toy Sense is talking about in this quote, from my point of view. Excuse me. Okay, let's begin with some key breathing. All right, close your eyes, sit up straight. Of course, I would very much like to hear what you have to say about this situation. I know that everyone is constantly evaluating their relative condition or the level of development with other people. Their envy, jealousy, our problems, let's face it, in our training, and on the other side, pride and arrogance are also a big issue. It's very common, and there's none of us that have none of that in us. So these words from Toy Sensei are very, very, not just important, but if we take them seriously, and I always bring them up here so that we can take them, examine them and take them more seriously, then this will change our practice radically. Change our relationships. Of course, with people in the dojo, but maybe with people in our workplace, maybe with people in our families. So, I know it impacts everyone. Please let me know what your experience with this is. Ask me any question you might have about it.
Good morning, Sensei. This is Fincher.
Good morning, Fincher. How are you? Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I do have a question. Tohei Sensei, in my experience, is pointing, always pointing towards something. with these shokushu and these sayings. And one of the things I always reflect on is his image, or the image of the iceberg, where what we normally do is above the surface, and the power that we normally don't know about or don't realize is below the surface. And I'm wondering if, since he points us so much to that portion that's below the surface, whether gratitude is included in that transition. Is there a difference between gratitude that we participate, let's say, just above the surface, and that which we experience or are given
Yeah.
source below the surface?
Yeah, that's very interesting. You know, good question. I always think about the iceberg in this way. When I began living on this earth, the tip of my iceberg was teeny, teeny, tiny. And then as I began practicing in my early 20s, the tip of my iceberg began to grow, and the iceberg began raising up out of the water. And of course, the bottom part that's under the ocean, I always think of as infinite, not just really big. But there's no end to possibility. There's no end to the opportunities and possibilities that we have in our life for growth and development. There's no such thing as, okay, I got it all, I'm developed now. So it's this raising up of the iceberg. So this development, our personal development, is how much of infinity is showing in our daily lives. Do we have access to? Are we using on a daily basis? So some people have a huge presence of sticking out of the water. Some only have a little tiny bit, depending on their level of development. And this is what I feel like he's talking about here. Is this addressing your question? I mean,
in a way, but more specifically towards gratitude itself. Does that
gratitude
transition into something deeper? Does it change when it is sourced from this?
Well, of course, you know, I'll tell you a short story. Excuse me, that happened before I started Aikido, but after I'd left it, after I'd moved to Maui and I'd already gone through the 3-year retreat, meditation retreat, I was a manager of a bunch of apartments. And you know what that's like, because you're a manager of a bunch of apartments. And when I took it over, my boss, the guy that owned the property, raised everybody's rents. So nobody liked me very much because I was the boss's representative. And we were in the middle of a rainstorm, and I hadn't rebuilt these houses yet. And the roof was leaking on one of the houses. I knew it was leaking. And I got over there. There was a break in the storm, and I took a big tarp up and didn't say anything to the tenants. Went up on the roof and started hammering this tarp onto the roof. And this guy, it was about 6 p.m, and he came out of his house and got up on the ladder and was screaming bloody murder at me. He was so angry. He didn't like me to begin with. And he called me an effing haole and wanted to throw me off the roof. Maybe that's illogical, since I was doing him a kindness. But he didn't see it that way. I was just interrupting his evening, and the rain had got away as far as he was concerned. Move forward 2 months. And my wife is pregnant with my first son, and we're both in front of Charlie's. There used to be an order-out window in Paia, and we're ordering some food. This guy comes screaming along the street in his car and stops in the middle of the street, jumps out, and comes over to me, drunk again, and plenty of anger, and starts screaming about how I do nothing but take advantage of him and misuse him and mistreat him, and using really foul language. And I'm getting scared, because not just for myself, He's a big guy, but because my pregnant wife is right there and she's terrified, I can see, and I don't know what to say to him. And he said, he finally led to saying, I could kill you right here. How about if I just smack you until you're dead? And I said, I didn't know what to say, but I said, you might do that. You might succeed at that. But let me ask you something. If you did, would that solve the problem? Would that make you feel better about me? And he kind of stuttered a little bit, and he seemed to get confused, and he went back on his car and drove away. And I thought, oh, I did a good job there. And I didn't know anything about Aikido yet. I hadn't started training. Cut forward 2 years, and I'm on a men's volleyball tournament team, and we're having a tournament at Paya Gym. And we come out to play the team, and the next team is, sure enough, this guy is on the team. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? And he sees me and he brightens up right away. And he comes over and goes under the net and shakes my hand. He said, I want to shake your hand. What you said to me that day, you changed my life. I stopped drinking. I have a better relationship with my wife. I said, oh, well, thank you very much. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I was so proud of myself. And then I realized a little bit later that I didn't make that change in him. I didn't really have anything to do with it. It was because of how he heard what I said. I wasn't a wise master like I was thinking I must have been at all. He made the change. Yeah, he had gratitude. He found gratitude in his life because he was very grateful. He came over as if he was grateful to me, and maybe he was in that way, but it wasn't me. Gratitude, as the iceberg raises up, gratitude, which was down below. There's no end of gratitude. It's a relative thing. It becomes constantly larger and larger and larger. So as the iceberg develops, as we develop and grow, our gratitude becomes deeper, our access to gratitude, because we understand more and more the source of our well-being. That's what all that hidden stuff is made of down there. The things we don't understand and are therefore not grateful for in our lives. Yeah, so I think this is huge. Gratitude is a gigantic thing. It's the light. It's when the light is on. It's the opposite of feeling sorry for yourself, complaining, depression, negativity, feeling diminished, feeling small, feeling unimportant, feeling like the tip of your iceberg is just teeny tiny. So as we gain development, as we practice, we become more and more grateful. Good question. Thank you, Fincher.
Thank you, Sensei.
Someone else.
Good morning, Sensei. It's Phoenix.
Hello, Phoenix. How are you?
I'm well. Very happy to be here. So, what I was thinking when you told the story, not that story, but I mean the quotes from Sensei, was just how much the tools that we have are gratitude and kindness, right? In those moments when, things are hitting the fan, so to speak, just remembering.
Yeah.
And really, so what you just described was that moment, even though it was stress, you were kind to him. You offered him another path in a way.
Yeah.
You just said, hey, there's a door right here, just by the way. And he went through it.
Yeah.
And that, choosing that choice in a time when you felt threatened I mean, it just has been striking me lately that for myself, when things are hard at work or elsewhere, that it's just a matter of switching my mind around and seeing what I can do for the other person, no matter how difficult the situation is at the moment. Not do, just listen to them, to just, try to get to their side, so to speak. It's like those, go ahead.
There's gratitude right there. I mean, instead of coming to fisticuffs or having some serious argument, just having the will to listen, to listen with equanimity and loving kindness, like you say. That's to be grateful for. Where did that come from? How come you're not fighting with that person? Well, it's because your subconscious mind allows you to do that. And that came about because of all the influence in your life, because of everything, the whole gang of people that have given you their lives. So you could have that one moment. And that's, yes, gratitude is what it's all about.
Thank you so much for teaching us all.
Thank you for all you for being here. I see it's about time again. And okay, so nice to see you all, and I will see you in a week. Aloha, tomo arigato gozaimashita. Bye bye.